If your makeup ever turns out cakey, patchy, and just off, it's probably not your products or even your skills, it's your brushes. The right brushes can make your look sophisticated, seamless, and elevated, but the wrong ones, they will drag your products, create texture, and ruin your look, no matter how expensive your makeup is. As a makeup artist who's been doing makeup for over 10 years, I can confidently say these brushes will elevate your look no matter your skill level or the product you use. And these are absolutely worth investing in because you will use them for years or even forever. So today I'm going to share my favorite makeup brushes and recommendation to elevate your look. First, I'm going to start with concealer brushes. As someone who's been doing foundation free for over years, just use concealer for my makeup most of the time, I can say that I'm expert in concealer brushes. Whether it's covering acne, under dark circles, or eye bags. For concealer brushes, I'd like to divide the brushes into two categories. First one is spot concealing brushes. These are for small spots or targeted areas, and blending brushes for larger areas like under eyes, around your lips, nose, like that. Starting off with my one and only my most favorite spot concealing brushes. These are actually what you can only find in Korea. It's HWAHONG 982 brushes in the sizes 0 and 1. These are not makeup brushes. These are actually art painting brush, and you can only find these brushes in Korea, and I believe they sell offline. When you go to an art store, you can find these brushes, and these are makeup staple for all Korean makeup artists. And I got to know these brushes when I joined the makeup academy in Korea, and my tutor even recommend me to get these brushes because it's just perfect for spot concealing. And I feel like these brushes show how detailed Korean makeup artists are because it's so tiny, and if you just compare it to average Western concealer brushes, you can see how small it is. And I've tried a lot of other concealer brushes like this type of small flat brushes, and I found that nothing can replace HWAHONG brushes. In case you can't find these art brushes you can find only in Korea, here are some criteria you can consider when choosing spot concealing brushes. Good spot concealer brushes have sort of flexibility, and the bristles are not that short, so you can target the exact area and get more precise look. If the spot concealing brushes are too short, you're going to put too much product because you have less control with that short bristles. So the brushes should be long enough to have you control. I've tried some other spot concealing brushes and even lip brushes as a concealer brush, but I found that if the brushes is too steep and lacks flexibility, you are more likely to put too much product, and also it's not going to blend really well because you already put a lot, and the brushes is too steep to blend easily, so it can end up looking patchy or cakey. If you ever have a planned trip to Korea, I highly recommend to get these brushes at any local art store. And for blending brushes, I have two brushes I'd like to recommend for today. One is from Korean brand and one is from US brand. And even though they're both the same blending brushes, I found that they're pretty different. Starting off with my favorite Korean makeup brushes, this is fillimilli 811 brush. I would say this brush is perfect to cover large pores, especially my nose pores. The reason why I love to use this to cover my pores is because it has a perfect flexibility and also dense bristles, hard enough to push the product into my pores, because with the brushes it's too soft, it's not going to have that tension to allow your products into your pores. And if the bristles are too steep, it would just blend only like surface area. To cover my pores with this concealer brush, I usually put matte finish, high coverage type of concealer on the back of my hands first and blend a little, and then I kind of like push the product into my nose pores. If you have large pores on other areas, you can do the same technique, and you will see how blurry it looks after blending all over. And because of its angle shape, not the round shape like typical concealer brushes, it's perfect for getting into the corners of the under eyes and around the nose. And I especially love using around my lips. You can follow your natural lip line to clean up the edges while keeping the inner part clean. It's also great for fixing overlining. Just take a bit of concealer and sharpen everything up, and you can get a more clean lip makeup look. So if you are looking for a affordable concealer brush that cover your pores and clean up your makeup, I highly recommend this brush. Next, another blending brush is this Hourglass Hourglass concealer brush. If I compare this fillimilli brush and this Hourglass brush, I would say Hourglass has denser bristles and feel more steep. So it's perfect to use with high coverage products because it gives you much more coverage than this type of softer bristles. So if you prefer like natural look, you can go with this fillimilli brush. And if you want more coverage for a specific area, I would say this Hourglass will be better. And this brush is actually designed to use with this Hourglass concealer, and this concealer has pretty high coverage and it has a more dense formula, and it's really high pigmented product, so it gives you full coverage. So this combo is just perfect for high coverage look. And because of the dense bristle, you can also use this to cover your pores, but I found that if I blend too strong with this Hourglass brush, concealer can peel a little bit because it gives you very strong tension. So I'd like to say this is more designed to use under your eye area with more high coverage products, but it still blends really nicely and blends seamlessly while giving you higher coverage. Next, we are moving on to foundation brushes. I have 3 different types of foundation brushes I would like to recommend today for different types of foundation and the look. First, I'm gonna start with this flat foundation brush. I actually got this from Amazon because I've seen a lot of Korean makeup artists use this type of flat foundation brush. So I got the one similar with more affordable price, and I found that it works really well. This flat foundation brush is more like a Korean makeup technique type of tool. Like the Dior spatula foundation techniques, it allows you to get a really thin layer of the products so that you can get more natural look and even coverage with way less product. This is the typical foundation brush. It has more bristles and it's more round shape, but this one is just so flat and it has a really thin shape. This brush is something you need to learn how to use because it can leave a lot of strokes on your face. But this one, even you don't have any skills, you can put a foundation on the back of your hands, blend a little bit with this brush, then you can get really thin layer of the foundation look. After blending all over with this foundation brush, you have some bristle like strokes left on your face, then you can blend with your fingers or blending with the sponge so that you can get more natural, even coverage look. And I would say this type of black brush is better to work with more matte, high coverage product instead of very glowy, runny, like serum type of foundation. When you use high coverage product, you need more control and you want to use enough amount of product, not too much. So you need this type of flat brush to allow you to get a really thin layer. And if you need more coverage, you can just keep blending and add more product. So I love this brush for that type of foundation and for more natural look. And next we have this dense angle brush from Hourglass. This works beautifully with more satin and a little bit more glowy type of foundation. The bristle is so soft and dense enough to give you enough coverage. Especially when I use the Giorgio Armani Glow Foundation, after blending with this brush, it still leaves that beautiful glow on my skin while giving enough coverage. What I love the most about this brush is it's just easy to work with. It's so soft. I can just blend roughly and still gives that perfect even coverage look. So if you don't have any makeup skills and you just want that quick and easy type of foundation brush, I would say this brush will be better. And the last foundation brush I'd like to recommend is this m.ph Beauty brush. This brush is actually designed to use with underpainting palettes, so it's perfect to use with the cream products. Cream products usually have more oils and it gives you that glowy finish. So whenever I use this brush with cream product or any liquid product, it still keeps that glow from the products I use. And the bristle shape and the handle shape is pretty unique because the brush is thin at the end. It gives you more precise application because when the handle is too thick, you're more likely to go more strong, but when the handle is thin, you're going to go for more light hands. And the bristle is so soft, it's not that dense, so it gives you control and flexibility. The brand recently launched the foundation and foundation brush to pair together, but when I test the foundation brush at store, I found that it feels pretty similar with this underpainting brush, and the brush was pretty expensive, so I would rather use this as a foundation brush. When I use this as a foundation brush with the m.ph foundation, it's just perfect combo. It goes really seamlessly while keeping that glow from the foundation. I feel like this brush is perfect to use with a lightweight serum type of foundation instead of like typical flat foundation brushes. So if you use that type of serum, hydrating, glowy foundation, haven't found the perfect brush yet, I highly recommend to get this one. And you can even use this with the other cream products, cream blushes, cream contour, even concealers. So this is really multitasking brush. Next we are moving on to eye makeup brushes. I I have a lot of eye makeup brushes and these are my everyday essential. First, I'm going to start with base eyeshadow brush. This is rèphr 15 brush. I actually got this brand brushes as a PR at first, like 1 or 2 years ago, and ever since I got the brushes, I've been using them almost every single day whenever I do my makeup. And I would say this is like one of the most high quality brushes I ever used. And I found that all of the brushes are made with hands in Japan. The brushes are so soft, so I love using their eye makeup brushes, especially because it allows me to get the really natural eyeshadow look. This brush 15 is perfect size to apply that light base eyeshadow all over my lace. Since the bristles is really soft, it allows me get the really light pigment. So I feel like this is perfect base eyeshadow brush. It never leaves any strokes or edges. It just blends so seamlessly. If the bristles is this soft and very high quality, even if you're beginner in makeup, I think you will still get the natural look because the tool is very important. I used to have a lot of this type of very round shape eyeshadow brush, but I only use this brush since I got the brush set. Next we are moving on to mid-tone shade brushes. I have different type of brushes for my upper lace and my lower lash lines. First, upper lace. This is also rèphr brush 13. The size is much smaller than the 15 brushes, so I like to use more like a mid-tone shade, darker shade in the base color to add more depth to my eyes. So mostly I just work on the crease area or sometimes just inner corner of my eyes and the outer part of my eyes to add that definition to my look. And this is also very soft, the same bristle with the 15 brush. So this is like perfect size to dip my crease. Another upper lid brushes I'd like to recommend is this Sigma blending brush. I like to use this brush when I want to do more like a smoky eye makeup look, because whenever I do my smoky eyes, I need something more dense type of bristle brush. This type of rèphr brush is perfect for blending, but if I want to target the exact area with more coverage, with more pigment, this brush is too soft, so it will get only natural look anyways. But this Sigma brush is more dense and not that soft to get me that strong color payoff with the eyeshadow. So I mostly go on the crease area with that mid-tone shade and just go all over. Because the Sigma brush has dense bristle, it's not that perfect to blend seamlessly. So when I want to blend seamlessly, I will just grab this rèphr 13 brush again and then blend the edges. Then I will get the perfect smoky eye makeup look. For lower lash lines, for mid-tone color, I have two brushes today. First one is this Dior eyeshadow brush 21. I found that this type of white brush is perfect because you're just going to follow your lower lash line like all over. So it has to be like short enough to target the exact area you want to put the product. And if the brush is too wide or too long, it's not going to give you enough coverage and enough color payoff. And the size is perfect and it's pretty dense. It's not that soft, so it gives me high coverage or high pigment from the eyeshadow. So I have to be really careful when using this brush. Another lower lash line eyeshadow brush for mid-tone color is this okhee's NUN03 brush. This brand, okhee, is a Korean makeup brush brand, and the brand founder is the Korean makeup artist who's been doing a lot of celebrities makeup and idols makeup for years, and she's a makeup expert. So she created this whole makeup brushes set and they sent me to try. And one of the makeup brushes I love from this brand is this specific brush for lower lash lines. Korean makeup is more about details, and one of the difference between Korean and US makeup is whether it's adding the darker color or deeper color on their lower lash lines or not. Most of makeup looks I've seen on celebrities, they don't do much lower lash lines techniques, whether it's putting eyeshadow, eyeliner, but Korean makeups loves to go deeper lower lash lines area because it gives you more like softer look, more like bigger eyes, and balance your eyes look more round shape, whereas the Western makeup look wants snatch like cat eye look, so they just put tiny eyeshadow, mostly lighter color on the lower lash lines. And I find this brush is just perfect to go like really details all along the lower lash lines. Compared to the Dior brush I just talked about, I would say the okhee brush is smaller and has more pointy ends, so it gives you more precise look, while the Dior brush is for more wider area, more like lighter color. But if I want to use like darker color, I would go for this okhee brush. Next, we are moving on to different type of eyeshadow brush, which is pointy eyeshadow brushes. We have 3 brushes today. These pointy eyeshadow is designed for like deeper shade, more like targeted areas. It has a pointy edge, so you can get more detailed look. Starting off the biggest one, this is Dior eyeshadow brush 22. I would say this is my most used eyeshadow brush among all these brushes because I mostly use this for my lips, to contour my lips specifically. But also I use this a lot to add that depth to my outer part of my eyes, a little bit on my inner corners. The edge is pointy, so it's perfect size to go a little bit more detail on the lower lash lines. But I found this brush is just perfect to contour my lips. I think this is just perfect for overlining brush. But still, this is an eyeshadow brush and great for adding more color details on the smaller areas. For actual eyeshadow brushes are these 2 brushes. These are from rèphr. The bigger one is number 03. This shade is perfect to go for more a little bit deeper than the mid-tone shade along my lower lash lines. Sometimes this type of wider shape is not detailed enough to go more deeper, so in that case I would go for this rèphr 03 brush. So I just take a deep brown shade and go a little bit deeper on my lower lash lines and maybe follow my eyeliners so that it can get that detailed look. But if I want to go really detailed, I will go for this 23 brush. This is way smaller than 03 brush, as you can see, and this size is perfect to blend the inner corner of my eyes specifically. I usually use a eyeliner gel or eyeliner around my inner part of my eyes. If I just draw lines there, it looks kind of unnatural, so I kind of want to blend that area with deep brown eyeshadow with this type of small brush. So I just blend all over so that it creates a more sophisticated blurry look, and I can go a little bit more precise along my lower lash lines as well with the brush. Next brush is eyeliner brush. I have 2 different types of eyeliner brushes today. One for eyeliner gel and one for eyeshadow. Starting off with the eyeshadow brush, this is rèphr 29 brush. I would say this is the most used and most favorite brush from this brand rèphr. And this is the thinnest eyeliner or eyeshadow brush I have ever seen from the brands. I actually tried this type of similar eyeshadow brush from Korean brands. I found that this is way better and this gives me much more like precise look. If the brush is too short, it's not going to give me that enough precision to draw really thin lines. But this brush is long enough to give me that control, that thin layer with the deep brown eyeshadow. So I always draw the fake eyeliner with this eyeshadow brush. And if I put the eyeliner gel and draw a thin line, I still go with this eyeliner brush to deepen the look or extend the lines a little bit. So this is just perfect size and perfect shape to draw the fake eyeliner. And then let's talk about this eyeliner gel brush. We have 2 different brushes, one from Jeongsemu and one from okhee. This Jeongsemu eyeliner gel brush is actually what I got while attending the Jeongsemu Makeup Academy. And if you don't know Jeongsemu, she's a OG Korean makeup artist who created the glass skin look in Korea, so she's the legend. This is a brush that I got while learning makeup there. It's been over 6 years, I guess, and I still use the brush. It still does the job. It's perfect size, and the difference between this Jeongsemu brush and okhee brush, Jeongsemu brush is more round shape, so it's perfect to tight line the water lines, like upper lines area. But this okhee brush has more angular shape, so it's perfect to draw sharper lines and more like wing eyeliner look. They are still great for tight lining and drawing the lines, but I would say okhee gives me more precision to draw the lines, but this one is more quick and easy tight lining brush. Moving on to face makeup categories. First, I'm going to start with the blush brushes. I usually use cream or liquid brushes, so I don't use this type of brushes that much, but when I want to get more precise look or if I use powder blushes, I will go for this type of powder brush. First, I'm going to talk about this Hourglass 15 brush. This brush is what I use to use any cream or liquid products. If you ever use rose cream blush or Rare Beauty liquid blush, you find that the pigment is very strong, so even if you put a little tiny dots, you still get that full coverage look. But when I want to use that type of cream or liquid brushes with the high strong pigment but still get that more natural look, I will go for this brush. If I blend with fingers, it's hard to get that even coverage, like even look, but this brush allows me to get that even uneven coverage, so it gives me a much more sophisticated look. And the bristles is so soft. It's not that dense brush. It has a little spars here and there, so it gives you more natural look. You can just buffing away, blending with the light hands, and you still get the natural coverage look. The shape is angular shape, so it's just perfect to go this way or whether it's this way for the blush placement. So I found this brush is perfect for a sophisticated blush look. If I ever use a powder blush, I would go for this rèphr brush. And again, the bristle is so soft. It's the same bristle from the eyeshadow brushes, so it gives me very natural coverage look. So even if I use that very strong pigment powder blush, it still gives me that natural blurry look. And the brush size is just perfect. It's not that big and not too small. I can just blend it right here, blend all over, then I can get that very natural looking blush look. For contour slash bronzer, I have these two brushes. First one is this m.ph brush again. I use this mostly to contour my face with the underpainting palette, and it's just perfect to use with cream products, so I just blend all over. It creates no edge, just goes really seamless. And if I want to use any powder bronzer or contour powder, I will go for this Dior 16 brush. As you can see, this is angular shape, so it's just perfect to get that a little bit more sculpted look right underneath my cheekbones. So I just take a little bit of bronzer or contour and work on a little bit underneath my cheekbones and around my forehead area a little bit. And the bristle is so soft and dense enough to give me that precisation, so it's just perfect size for contour slash bronzer. And then lastly, we have highlighter brush. For highlighter, I use this brush a lot. This is okhee PIV08 brush. I don't use a highlighter that much like the powder highlighter, but when I use the highlighter, I want to go really light and natural. I use this Dior highlighter palette the most, and to use this highlighter palette, I found that this specific brush is just perfect. The reason number one is the size is perfect to go right here and a little bit under my cheekbone area. If the brush is too small, it's more likely to leave that strong stroke, but I don't want that, so I just blend all over, and then it can get that really seamless highlighter glowing look. Since this is a brush for powder type of product, you can use it with translucent powder, even with powder blush to get more targeted areas. And lastly, we are moving on to powder brushes. First, I'm going to start with the brush I use a lot, which is this BOL02 brush. If you compare these two brushes, you can see this okhee brushes has more pointy edge. So I found this shape is just perfect to go a little bit underneath my eye area because of the pointy end. Nowadays, I use the Givenchy color correcting powder to brighten my look, like the center of my face, and then a little bit under my eye. So I just go a little bit here. I can brighten the exact area I want to brighten. I found this shade and size is perfect for that. And then lastly, we have this average normal powder brush. Because I've been using so much, I don't have any name on the handle, but I could say this can be from Sigma. This is high cheekbone F03 brush. I use this brush a lot when I use translucent powder. For translucent powder, it doesn't have to be pointy or any specific shape. It's just very fluffy, easy to work with type of brush. The size is small enough to cover my eyelids and a little bit on my eyebrows. And if I want to mattify my face with the powder, I don't go with this giant powder brush because the powder will go everywhere. So I like to go for smaller brushes because I want to mattify a specific area on my face, not all over, so that I can create more natural look. So I love using this brush to just mattify smaller areas. So these are all my favorite makeup brushes and recommendations. I hope you guys find it really helpful. Some of the brushes are pretty pricey, but as someone who tried tons of makeup brushes, these brushes are totally worth investing in. If you still want to know drugstore version, I already made a video about drugstore makeup brushes recommendation, so you can check out that video as well. Please let me know if you have any questions about any of these brushes or makeup techniques in the comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye!